Good evening, guys, and welcome to the latest Alpha Elite podcast. So today's subject we're going to talk about is a subject that I've been messaged about on private messages, and I've seen it popping up a little bit on Facebook and various groups and this that, and the other, which is about how do people stay positive and motivated in times of adversity. And I thought it was quite a relevant subject. It's something that everyone's going to face throughout their course of their life. And I thought we'd kick it off with Bryn this week. So just to put everyone in the picture, so you're kind of facing a bit of an injury at the moment, which will give you a little bit of a setback with your strongman training.
Yeah.
And I thought this subject was quite relevant to yourself about how you're dealing with it. You stay quite positive, you're motivated. So yeah, I'm going to give you the lead today, mate.
All right, cool.
Stop messing.
New
toys. Got new toys
now. So just to give everyone a little bit of a background, I sort of started off strongman about 3 years ago. Started training at old school gyms full time. Got sponsored pretty early by you, mate.
Saw some potential.
Yep, saw some potential.
Still yet to see it maximised.
Like my bench. But so I did England's last year, finished 11th. Did that hardcore with a broken hand, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just because I didn't want to sit at home basically and cry about it. So I decided to go anyway and finished 11th out of 20. And we set a goal, really, didn't we, this year to basically annihilate it. And, you know, looking at sort of the way it panned out this year, I'd have probably done that quite comfortably. There was only really one guy there that would have sort of tested me, Joe, our strongman Joe, good lad. So basically, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah,
6 weeks ago, I was doing some close grip bench. And, you know, had a sizable amount of weight on.
24 kilos.
Basically, yeah. And basically just tore my pec on the way down. Realised I'd done something straight away because it just sort of felt like a tracksuit getting undone, pulling away. Yeah. Felt it straight away. Run upstairs, looked in the mirror, seen my chest sort of pretty much exploded, and then sort of was like, what are my options now? Rung home straight away. I was like, shit, you know, I've in the nicest way possible, I've fucked up here. You know, I've got England's coming up. I've got a qualifier for the other England's Giants Live coming up. You know, this is my year potentially to break through. You know, adrenaline was running, and I didn't really know where to go with it. You know, I remember seeing you about an hour later, and I was just like, mate, I fucked up. And you're like, no, it's all right. You know, you don't know anything yet right now. And, you know, it's easy to say that when you're not sort of in this mind, but I totally agreed with you, and I just went, yeah, sack it. Got my session done, and then was like, right, I need to start planning now. So I need to go and get an MRI privately. I need to, you know, go see a consultant privately. I need to get surgery, which is happening this month. And basically, then after all that was decided, it was the best part of 2 weeks of hell. It was basically me up and down, you know, what did I do wrong? You know, where could I have corrected things? Was I hydrated enough? Was I doing that sort of weight too close into this cycle of training? You know, why am I benching this close to a comp? You know, is it meant to be? All that sort of thing. You know, this was my year to, you know, finally break through. And I just think it definitely affected sort of my mind. It affected home life. It affected being around my kids. It affected everything, really. Every aspect of life it affected, and it rocked it to its core, really. Because I kept looking at it where people were like, yeah, you know, it's going to be all right, you know, you'll get over it quite fast, you know, wish you were a speedy recovery and stuff like that. But knowing what I knew, I realised how big of an injury it was, and it wasn't something that I was just going to snap my fingers and it comes straight back and it's going to be healed. So I think after I'd spent 2 weeks, you know, sort of really moping around, crying about it, you know, coming to the gym, I can't even train, I can't even do cardio, I'm in that much pain. Once I started getting the right answers, I basically just said to myself, right, what I can do now is I can either cry about it and potentially that's strongman done, and I can just, in my eyes, be a little bitch about it, and just say, right, you know, I had one bad injury, which in the strongman world they always say, you know, your first big injury will always define you. You know, you're either going to come back stronger, or that's it, that's you. And for a lot of guys, that is one way or the other. You know, anyone at the top level has never gone through their career without having a big injury. This, hopefully, is mine. And I basically just said to myself, I need to now get on the recovery train. I need to make sure that I can do everything that I can, whether it be money, whether it be getting a loan for the surgery, anything. This comes first. Every aspect of my life can wait. I've obviously then gone and done that, got the surgery book, stuff like that. That's coming soon. And I've basically just set myself a target of, right, I will be back for Worlds at the end of the year. But I've said to myself, if not, you know, I'm 80% there. I'll just go on next year because, you know, I've said to myself, this is what I set out to do. This is what I wanted to do. I chose to make these decisions. And, you know, strongman, it is one of them sports at the moment where there's a lot of risk involved for such a little return. The return, is the achievement of winning your shows, of winning this, of winning that. You know, I've won comps and stuff like that, but the levels that I want to get to, I've not done that yet. So I've got a lot of unfinished business. I find that it's easy for me to stay motivated because I've got a clear goal, and that's where I'm going. You know, I have come off the path. You know, my diet did slip for a couple of weeks because I'm just human. Anyone that goes for any difficult times, you are just human, and you know, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but you know, if you go out and you go on the lash you go and have a couple of bevies for too many nights in a row, then that's what you do. That's how you deal with it. You know, as long as you're not harming anyone else, you know, you might have an argument with the missus, you might have an argument with a family member. As long as, you know, you settle that later, and, you know, this is the mindset I was in at the time and stuff like that. I think, you know, you just need to get back on your path. This is what you set out to do, you know, whether it be academic, whether it be sports, anything like that, and then you just keep striving towards them. I stay motivated because I've got that clear path in my head.
I'm sure you won't mind me saying, but obviously when you had the injury,
Yeah.
Like, again, speaking quite honestly, you came to me and you were like, that's it, my strongman career's over. That's what you got in your head at that point. And we had numerous conversations, and I was like, what you need to do is think positively. Like, you're not an expert, you're listening to people that are telling you this, that and the other. What you need to do is put that to one side, go and focus on getting the right advice, speaking to the right people, and try and remove this kind of negative and this guesswork. Try and think positive. And that was obviously my advice to you, to kind of focus on yourself, get rid of all the noise that was going on, and go and speak to the right people. And I think once you did that, and you went and obviously had your appointment with your consultant, you came back with a totally different attitude. But them 2 weeks, you were pretty rock bottom, weren't you?
Yeah.
Like, say, you just thought your career was, like, strongman career was over.
Definitely.
Yeah. And again, that's good. So, you know, in terms of that, you had your support network there. You had myself, you had other members at the gym and this and the other that you were able to listen to and take motivation from, people that believed in your ability, that it was only going to be a minor setback. So I think that was a good driving forward, and another good example of, you know, what people need in order to be successful. It's not just about yourself, it's about having that right support network around you as well, that will help you to eliminate all the bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
And just focus on what's relevant to you and your condition.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's good that when stuff like that happens, you don't realise what actual support network you've got until that stuff like that happens. You know, I mean, we get on really well, we're really good friends and stuff like that. But I think, you know, there was times where it just took for you to sit there and just say, mate, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. Stop being a big fucking baby. You know, and there was times I was literally like, I'm going to fucking pop your head off. What you on about? You know, but, not that I could, guys. But, I think you do realise who actually is around you and who actually genuinely cares. You know, even my home life and stuff like that, having somebody just constantly, you know, in my ear going, no, it's going to be all right. Well, what are you doing about it? Are you going to fucking do something like that? Are you just going to sit there and cry? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, no, a little bit of sympathy. No, fucking get back on that train. And that's it. Sometimes you just need people like that around you. Even if it is conflicting opinions, you know, where one's more sympathetic and other one's more hard. You know, you just need all these opinions, and then you need to sit down and say, right, this is what I'm going to do now.
Yeah.
Because everyone around me I've set out for this. Everyone expects me to do it. They don't expect me to sit there and go, well, you know, I could have done it if such and such. Well, so why didn't you? You know, so I think it's a good way of looking at it when you've got that
Good.
support network.
What about yourself, Josh? Any examples you can give about you? Because I find you a very positive person. I find you a very positive influence on my life, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm miserable behind closed doors. No, I am. I think I've faced enough adversities to just think I'm more of a resolution person. Like, I'm definitely guilty of having something go wrong and thinking it's the end of the fucking world, as everyone is. But then I'm quite quick to just think, right, how can I resolve this issue? How can I find a solution to this problem? Like even in just like little terms, if you've got you and the missus are having a problem, it's like, I don't want to, like, some women just want to talk about the problem. It's like, no, why don't we just find a route through it? What's the resolve? How can we get through it? But mine was, I don't know, injury wise, when talking about injuries, I've had my fair share of injuries throughout the years. I had a back injury throughout the army. I think everyone's had that before. But then it reignited again. I had a crash a couple of years ago. Pretty serious, proper knocked me off my feet. And that was come at a worse time because of COVID. Just bought a new car, hit a car pretty much head on at 60 mile an hour. Hospital, back was dead, shoulder was gone, shoulder's back again now. But yeah, it was shit. Lost my job and because of COVID and everything. So at the time it was terrible. But I suppose you've just got to keep, like, I know it sounds proper like cheesy, but just keep moving forwards. Instead of thinking 6 months, year down the line, just think day by day. And if a day by day is too much, think hour by hour. How am I going to get through this next hour? What do I need to do to progress? Like, I think when you're in a time of adversity, I think it's quite easy to get overloaded with like thinking and overthinking. Just think like, how can I get through this next day? Instead of thinking this next year, what am I going to do this year? No, that's the day, the week, the month.
It's like baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Yeah.
And I just found that it like helped me more than anything, thinking, right, okay, yeah, I'm injured, yeah, I'm struggling, walking around, and I've got loads of physio, and I've got to start this claim, and I've got no car, and I've got to buy another car, and I've lost my job, and I've got a house to pay for, and it's like you could go mad and just think I've got to live under a rock. But
Yeah.
if I just crumbled, then I wouldn't have my house, I wouldn't have the car that I've got now, because you've just got to keep pushing forward. You've got to have a mindset of I can't be broken, and you've do you know what I mean? You can't stop. Like, you can't stop. If you stop, everything will, like, no one's gonna give you money. No one's gonna give you money.
Yeah,
no one's gonna give you positivity. Except me, obviously, a rainbow. But yeah, you've got to just find the solutions, find the little solutions, find those little wins to kind of keep you moving forwards. Like for you, obviously, your consultant, and he's given you a solution, and you can breathe easier now because I'm sure he's told you what's going to happen. He's told you your recovery time, and you're like, right, I can get back now. I can get fixed again.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You've now got a journey in your head,
definitely.
and you've now got to resolve. And I just think, yeah, you can't stop. You can't give up. Everyone has adversities. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Well, how minor or how major they are, but just keep moving forwards. Keep baby steps, little wins. That's how I sort of take things on, in my personal opinion.
I think a lot of people, they have their own ways of dealing with adversity, or what they class as adversity. Like I remember years ago, I had a friend of mine who he used to work with, and everything that happened in his life was a major trauma. Like he'd run out of gas, for example, and it was like the worst thing in the world. And I was like, there's no filter on this guy. Like everything was a major. Like what's going to happen? Like and he just overreacted and he crumbled under everything. I was like, what's going to happen to you when something's serious? Like you face serious adversity in your life. How are you going to cope with that? And you never seem to be able to progress from that. I find that.
I think some people, like, it depends on upbringing massively. I think if you've been sheltered and you've not faced adversities, or you've faced minor adversities, or you've been hidden away from them, or people have, like, the term mollycoddled,
mollycoddled,
If you've always been sheltered from trouble and problems, then like your problem solving ability is going to be pretty slim to none. So when you're faced with like a minor infraction, you probably are. People do overreact to things. Like, I've run out of fuel. Go and get fuel then. Go and get a jerry can. Like,
just walk.
For instance,
Hey, did you get your car out of the car park?
Last night, we all went out and I put my car in a multi-story car park and it locks at 10 and I didn't know. And like, some people would lose their shit. And if I'm honest with you, old Josh probably would have lost his shit and been like, I need my car. But like, I was like, do you know what? I've got another car. Let's get a taxi back home.
Yeah.
And I'll drop you off. Like, we
wandered back into town,
exactly.
To the taxi.
We just went, oh, well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like, some people may have not reacted like that. And some people may have been, do you know what I mean? It's like, instead of moaning about the problem, why don't we go and get a taxi?
It's going to open
and why don't we go home?
I think it was a very, like, you dealt with it in a very logical way.
Yeah.
There's no emotion. Like, you didn't get mad. You didn't get angry, and you weren't upset. You're just like, oh, I've been an idiot.
Definitely age as well. I think old me would have had a different reaction. I think as you get older, you definitely care less about things. I think
less about the little things.
Yeah. I think you're just like, life's way too short for me to get angry because I didn't read a sign that the car park in very big letters didn't get closed at 10 or whatever. I was like, well, what can you do? You know what's a good example of this? Road rage. Not road rage when someone cuts you up. Road rage if you're in traffic. Like, if you're in traffic going to work, and I've seen it loads, and I've been stuck in traffic, and you can see cars and the people inside them are going mental. It's like, you're achieving nothing except satisfying your own need to talk.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gaining anything by shouting.
It's just wasted energy.
Yeah. Like, your car is not moving forward any quicker because you're shouting. So just deal with it. Ring your boss. Look, I'm really sorry. I'm going to be a bit late. I'm in traffic. Take a picture of the traffic if you need to. And I don't know what you're supposed to do. Like,
getting angry and agitated is actually doing you damage.
It's a waste of your energy.
It's not a positive input on your life.
Stress, known fact, ages you. Stress ages you.
I have no stress. Look at me. I'm 72.
Beautiful. If you live a stressful lifestyle, or you take on a job that stresses you, take a photo of it when you start and take a photo of it after a year, and people change. Your face ages, your body ages, people lose hair. Like, stress is not good for the body at all. It's like cortisol or something. It releases stress.
Yeah.
And it's not good for your body whatsoever. Coming to the gym is, though. Coming to the gym, you get your serotonin release. You get a nice little boost.
That's it. You come to old school gyms, you get to see Joe Pearce. And that's a laugh for everyone. I like what you're saying about the whole, day after day or hour after hour, stuff like that. I think one thing that sort of changed through my life going on to, like being motivated and stuff like that, is sort of seeing the end goal. So like, when I say that, I mean being realistic. So like, I set out, I'll always use strongman as a reference. I set out because I was like, I want to be on the world stage. I genuinely believe, looking in that mirror, I've got the genetics to get there. I've got the mindset to get there.
100%.
So I seen the end goal straight away, and then I was like, right, how am I going to get there? And then all I said is, right, I've got to be realistic with myself. So the first ever comp I turned up to, I was like, I'm going to wipe the floor with these guys. I won like about 2 points, but my mindset was, I'm gonna wipe the floor with these guys. I then jumped straight into Northern Qualifier. Yeah. This is like literally going from down here to like somewhere here. After the qualifiers, you're at England, so it's like that's pretty much the jump that I took off my second comp. There was guys there like, I swear I seen you 6 months ago, just in that novice comp. What's going on? People take longer to do that jump, but I was like, listen, I'm not here to win, but I'm here to do some damage, and I'm here to get experience, and I'm here to, sort of get a foothold in this sport, sort of thing. People are going to know who I am. And I sort of gave myself little tiny spots along the way. These are sort of the milestones that I'm going to give myself. And I think every time I hit a milestone, that's what kept me motivated, because I saw not only the end goal, but I saw action in the journey. And I think people can stay motivated when they see something realistic. Now, how much realism you are add to that is nothing. You know, people say, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Well, that's fair enough. You know, I can set out to be a millionaire, but let's focus on making that first 20 grand.
Yeah.
And then once you make 20 grand, let's make 50 grand. And then once you made 50 grand, let's make 100 grand. It doesn't matter how long that goal takes you, but, you know, there's got to be certain realistic milestones. You know, not everyone can get lucky on Bitcoin and make billions of pounds, you know.
True.
But as a bog standard person in life, male, female, whatever, if you can set up something, if you can set a journey up, at the start, and you can see the finish line where you want to be, and you can set little realistic milestones, I think that itself will keep you motivated. Not daily, but you will constantly have motivation and go, I'm heading in the right direction. But for me, the biggest key is discipline. If you keep showing up and you keep putting in the hours and you keep putting in the work, you know, your mindset there should stay there. And then it's just about not being lazy.
Yeah.
You know, do I want to get up and eat that food? Do I want to get up and do that research? Do I want to get up and do them invoices? That's on you then. And not everyone can train that. You know, you can watch YouTube videos, you can watch Ronnie Coleman going, you know what I mean? That's
Lightweight, baby!
Yeah, but that's temporary.
Yeah.
As long as you can see that end goal, then I think you're definitely headed in the right direction. That's how people achieve great things.
Yeah, I think people are definitely results driven. If you can see a product of your work, I think you're more inclined to continue with that work.
Yeah.
Whether that be money, whether that be physique, whether that be business, whatever it is. I think if you do something and then you see a result, people tend to go, oh, okay. I think people struggle with the gym for that reason, because sometimes results are not that quick. Like, what did they say? It takes a month for other people to notice, 2 months for you to notice.
Yeah.
So then people are like, after like 6 weeks, like, I'm not even fucking changing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you are.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely are, because you're showing up,
Yeah.
you're disciplined, you're eating your food, you are going to change. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is factual, you will change. So when people see that first check-in photo and they go, oh, fucking hell, look at this, and or they're lifting more, or the PB's changing, it's like, I've got results now. And then I think that's when that fire gets lit in people.
Yeah,
And they're like, right,
That's their motivation
this is it
to
now.
carry on. It's
Yeah.
continuing to move forward. And you're exactly right, as what you said before. It's baby steps. You know, if every week you're training in the gym and you're adding 1.25 kilogram to a lift, over a 16-week period, that's a significant gain.
There you
Doing a
go.
lot
It's
there.
only little steps. It's breaking it down into bite-sized quality, like bite-sized portions that you can manage weekly, daily, so you're getting little improvements which will keep that motivation high. I've always been very results driven in terms of like motivation, and I'm very structured. I like a routine. I stick to a certain routine in order to keep me motivated. I get up at a certain time, I eat at a certain time, I train at a certain time, I work at a certain time. And I break my goals down exactly the same into smaller, like I know what my end goal is, and then I'll break that down. What do I want to achieve in 12 months? What do I want to achieve in 6 months? What do I want to achieve in 3 months? What do I want to achieve in 2 months? What are my goals for this month? That's how I've always done it, broke it down to make it into more manageable portions, and then it enables you to have absolute laser focus on what you're doing. Right, I know what my end goal is. It might take me 5 years to get there. There's no point me focusing on that. But this goal for this month, like for example, when we first started the gym, my first major goal was to get to 500 members. I didn't put a timeline on it. I just said my first goal is to get to 500 members, and I'm going to work and do as much as I possibly can to get to that 500 member mark. Then once we got to that 500 member mark, it was a case of, right, now I want to get to 700 members. Now I want to get to 800 members. Now I want to get to over 1,000 members. Constantly investing it, breaking it down into more manageable portions, which will enable you to keep driving. I'm a very visual person as well. So in terms of motivational for personal goals, I always use positive visualization. So if there's something I really want, like I want to buy a new car, what I will do is I will go and see that car, physically see it, touch it, get inside it, sit in it, picture myself in it. It becomes real then. Then I come away and I think, right, okay, how much is that going to cost? What do I need to do to get it? and how hard do I need to have to work now to get me to that. So, and that's how I'll set my personal goals, and that's holidays, things like that. Right, I want to go here on holiday. Picture it. Look for the place I want to stay. Okay, that's where I want to go. How much is it going to cost me to go there? How much money do I need to earn on a weekly basis to put to one side in order to get there? And that's always worked for me in order to keep driving me and pushing me forward. So it's about finding the right recipe. Everyone's going to have their own kind of recipe for success, I suppose, their own steps to success. And it's finding out what works best for you. There's no right or wrong way. Positivity is key. Cut out all the bullshit, cut out all the negativity. They're your goals at the end of the day. Your goal is your goal. It's no one else's business to tell you what you want to do. You focus on what you want to do and you make it happen.
I think you said it. Also, I think we're going to wrap up soon, but you said outside people would be like, when we talk about training, people would be like, I couldn't do that. It's like, no, you could. Like, you don't have to. Some people are too quick to go, I can't do that. Well, you probably could. Like, anybody can do anything at the end of the day. Realistically, anybody can, like, achieve, do you know what I mean, fucking physique that they want. Anybody can do that. Like, you just fit it in. But it's like, if you took that person that said, oh, I could never do that. It's like, actually, I'll tell you what. You come live with me for 16 weeks and you'll do exactly what I say. And at the end of those 16 weeks, you will have achieved that. And it's like, no, you can do it. It's just about changing people's mindset. People are very in this mindset of, I can't do this, I can't achieve this. When actually, in fact, I think people are more capable than what they believe in themselves.
Yeah. Two weeks ago when we had Georgia on, she was talking about getting her female clients to be comfortable with coming to the gym. Yeah. And she used exactly the same method. Well, I can't go to that gym because I feel intimidated. Okay, well, can you go to the front door? Yeah, okay, we'll do that. That's your first goal. Okay. Now you've been to the front door. How do you feel? I feel fine. Okay, well, can you go into reception and speak to them? Yeah, brilliant. Go and do that. That's your next step. Okay, can you go into the gym now and go into the free weights area and do bicep curls? Yeah, I can. Brilliant. Go and do it. She gave a great example of helping people, breaking it down into little tiny manageable steps. Too much information going to overload people. They will always, you are absolutely right, they will always find a reason why they can't. I can't do that because of work. I can't do that because I'm intimidated. I can't do that because I'm frightened. But break it into a little manageable step, something very simple. No one's going to say they can't do something simple because it makes them look bad.
Yeah,
this is it.
Yeah, it's about using the right terminology. I think she came up with she's got a good recipe for success there. I like that.
Yeah, just never think anything's unattainable. And if you have got things that are stressing you out, bothering you, take baby steps. Like, things may seem terrible and like the worst it could be, but there's always a way through it. There's always something that you can do to get through that day, get through that week, get through that month.
There's people there that you can talk to. There's
100%.
There's support networks there. There's facilities available where you can talk to people. If you feel that you're overwhelmed, I was saying this to before we started the podcast. The subjects we're talking about at the moment have come from people that have messaged me privately and said, "Oh, I'd like you to talk about these things, but I don't feel comfortable putting a public comment." That's brilliant. My message is, I'm sure yours, always open if anybody wants to drop a message and they want us to cover something in particular. Drop us a message. We're happy to discuss it. That's exactly what the podcast was created for, to give you guys something, give you something back and talk about the subjects which you maybe not have anyone in your inner circle that you feel comfortable talking to. So we'll do it in a public forum. It's absolutely no problem. Yeah, exactly.
For your benefit. Right. That was good.
Yeah, but before we wrap up, just to look at it, just like I say, start off with a journey, however you want to start off. Set yourself little goals, little milestones all along your journey. Make sure you can see the end. You've got to be realistic with yourself, though. Make sure that you can see the end line. You know what the end goal is. How long it takes you to get there doesn't really matter, just as long as what you set out to achieve, you achieve. And that's our podcast done.
Why is he doing my job?
I know.
I do the wrap up.
Like, comment, and subscribe, guys.
Now he's doing your job.
You're not getting paid extra for this, you know.
And a big thumbs up if Bryn's the best guy on the podcast.
just before we wrap up, we just wanted to say thanks to my friend Lee Haywood for sponsoring the podcast again with his Lucky Boy Streetwear.
Yeah.
If you guys want to get some really cool hats for this summer festivals and stuff, go to www.luckyboylife and buy one. So yeah, thank you very much.